What's going on? We here for week 2 preview at the AFC North Talk here with Tony, Quincy, Ace, and myself, SCG Sports. How are you guys?
Doing great
Doing
today,
well.
man. How you guys doing?
Look, back-to-back weeks of a AFC North matchup, so it's gonna be good. That's gonna be the last one that we're gonna pick today, guys. I feel like if there's any AFC North matchup, that's the marquee game for the division, right? So let's go start with the man of the hour here, Tony, because I know you know Tony. He likes to put some blasphemy, as Mr. Stephen A. Smith likes to say it. But I'm gonna start with you, Tony. Broncos Steelers. Who do you have?
So this is the home opener for the Steelers. There will be no fans in the stands. Steeler fans will get mad at me for saying this, but for the Steelers, it'll just feel like right after halftime, right, beginning of the third quarter. Fans aren't in their seats yet. That's what always happens at Heinz Field. Listen, I've been to many games there. It's always the same. It's not the fans' fault, really. It is the design of the stadium, but still, that's what it'll feel like for Ben and the crew. Look, the Steelers do not have a great history against the Broncos. The Broncos are 4-1 in the last 5 meetings between these two. Including the last one, which you could really say is the end of Antonio Brown's reign in Pittsburgh, as that was the game where Ben threw the late interception, said that AB ran the wrong route, said they should have thrown to Juju 4 times on the goal line. Now, all 4 of the wins that Denver's had in these last 5 have been in Denver. As we know, the Steelers don't travel well out west, so this game being in Pittsburgh should be better for the Steelers. I'll mention the injuries real quick here. Phillip Lindsay not going to play for the Broncos. Neither is A.J. Bouye. Courtland Sutton looks like he will play, although, we're recording this at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and the injury report's not out just yet, although it sounds promising for Courtland Sutton. He didn't play last week. For the Steelers, great news. James Conner's going to play. He's a full participant in practice. Now, the question there is going to be workload, right? Obviously, Benny Snell, 100-yard game a week ago. James Conner struggled in the limited reps that he got. I expect that, look, Tomlin's not the kind of guy to give away those reps after one performance. So I think Connor still starts this game, but I would expect to see a healthy dose of Benny Snell in this game. The offensive line for the Steelers, the real concern after last week, of course, we've already talked about Zach Banner, the right tackle, going down with ACL. DeCastro did not practice. Looks like he's not going to play. Wisniewski also not playing. So the Steelers are down to their third-string right guard, Kevin Dotson, a rookie, will get his first start in this game. Looking at the Steelers' offense against the Broncos' defense, Von Miller, obviously the big loss for the Broncos, and you think about that, and you think about the decrease in pass rush there. But remember, this team drafted Bradley Chubb a couple years back, former 5th overall pick. Great rookie season, 13 sacks. And I know what you guys are thinking, Tony. 13 sacks is nice, but how many pressures? Well, great question. 57. Question. He missed all of last year with most of last year with an ACL tear. So he is coming back from ACL. He didn't have a great week 1, but certainly a very talented edge rusher there in Denver. Atuachu, who filled in for Von Miller, actually was good last week, a sack and 5 pressures for him. This team also has Jarrell Casey, who I know is past his prime. He's going to turn 31 this year, but he was very good in Tennessee. So with the Steelers offensive line going through some turnover there, pass rush could be an issue for the Steelers in this game. Looking over then at the Steelers defense against the Broncos offense, obviously this game is going to come down to turnovers, that as every game with the Steelers defense does, right? Can they get their turnovers, because they've been so good over the past year. Drew Lock, you might think a young quarterback like this going to struggle in that area. He actually has not really a turnover prone quarterback through this through the limited action we've seen of him. Now, it's a limited sample size, only 6 starts for Drew Lock so far, but just 3 interceptions. In fact, he has an interception percentage, saying the number of attempts per interception, 1.6%. If you've listened to me on Steeler Country or Locked On Steelers, I've ragged on Ben for years about throwing too many interceptions, want to see him below 2%. Ben's only been below 2% 3 times in his career ever. Drew Lock so far so good for him. He's also very good at avoiding pressure. He has not been sacked very often. I think only 5 sacks given up in his 6 starts. And you compare that to what Joe Flacco and Brandon Allen were doing. Brandon Allen and Joe Flacco were sacked over 30 times in their 11 starts, 3 times a game. It's under 1 a game for Drew Lock. So this Steeler team's going to want to bring pressure. Lock has been pretty good at avoiding it. We'll see how that goes. Again, small sample size, and Drew Lock has definitely not faced a defense as talented as the one in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are also going to have to go up against Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy in this game. And we talked last week about how the Giants and that passing game, especially the receiver position, wasn't going to be a big challenge. Now the Steelers ended up struggling against Darius Slayton. Slayton had, of course, that long touchdown and 2 touchdowns in the game overall. Courtland Sutton, obviously the big physical receiver, and then Jerry Jeudy, a very polished route runner. He led the Broncos last week in targets, but he had a bunch of drops. He only caught 50% of the passes thrown his way, so the drops were an issue there. I'm interested to see on Sunday how the Steelers approach that. Do they want to put Hayden on Sutton and maybe put Nelson on Jeudy? Nelson more of a physical receiver. Do you want to limit Judy's route running with more physicality? Or do you want to match it physical for physical? Nelson on Sutton, Hayden on Jeudy. We'll see how they approach. I think there's multiple ways you can go. Regardless, needless to say here, the Broncos present more problems for the Steelers defensively at wide receiver than the Giants did a week ago. And also Noah Fant at tight end is going to present some of the same problems that Evan Ingram did against the Giants. Evan Ingram, of course, held to just 2 catches in that game on Monday night. My prediction in this game, look, I think the Steelers are going to I think Drew Lock is going to be kind of a welcome to the NFL experience for him. As I said, he's done well. He hasn't turned the ball over. He hasn't been sacked. He also hasn't played a Steeler defense yet. So I have the Steelers winning this one 23-13, a relatively easy win for the Steelers at home. Get up to 2-0 and keep challenging Baltimore for that division title.
Cute.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh has a tremendous advantage over everybody else in the AFC North because they seem to be the only team in the AFC North that had a preseason, because this is another tune-up game for the Pittsburgh Steelers here against the Denver Broncos. Let's be honest here. They're a slightly better version of the New York Giants. Young quarterback, I think probably a little bit more promising young quarterback in Drew Lock than Daniel Jones. It can go either way. Probably a better offensive line, better offensive weapons. But then after that, I don't know how scared you are of Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, but I don't really have a high opinion of either back. And defensively, not necessarily the most impressive unit you're going to see in the AFC. Pittsburgh should win this one. And I see a lot of people in the comments say, "Oh my God, Quincy, do you still think the Steelers are going to go 6-10?" You can win 2 games and go 6-10. All I'm saying, until they win 7, they going 6-10. So I'm sticking on that one. But yeah, I expect the Steelers to win this one, and they're probably going to win it in a similar fashion than they won the New York one, where they kind of try to get it together early on, where you got some question marks maybe in the first half, and then, they realize they're a little bit better of a team than both those teams.
Ace.
For me, I think that this game is definitely going in the Steelers' favor. I think in the NFL, you have to be able to score points. And when I look at Denver's offense, it wasn't really good last week. I don't see it really getting better. Yes, the Titans are a great defense, but they're also going against a great front with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then you look at them on offense, they've got a young quarterback in Drew Lock. I don't know if he's the guy yet. We have to see. But it's not doing him any favors without him having Courtland Sutton, who went down a few weeks ago. So it seems like Tony said maybe Sutton is the engine that gets this offense going this week. We still have to see more from Jerry Jeudy. Had a lot of drops last week. So outside of him, Noah Fant, and Courtland Sutton, also Melvin Gordon there in the backfield, maybe they can string something together. The defense played a lot better than I thought that they would without Von Miller. But they're going to have to go to another level against Pittsburgh, especially with all the weapons that they showed. Big Ben as sharp as he was last week. And I don't think that they can do it, especially in Pittsburgh on the road. I think that that's a tall order with a young quarterback. Like Quincy said, it's pretty much a better looking version than the New York Giants. So to me, I think that this one is Pittsburgh's.
Yeah, I will have to agree here. I think the Steelers. But one thing is, right now, if you think about the Broncos have on the D-line, maybe like Chubb is a great player. And then Casey is, he's okay at this point. He's here. And the rest, they're average at best at this point. So the Steelers should be able to run the ball first. Second, missing the corner. I always watch his name. Bouye. Yeah, Bouye. That also creates a void because Bouye at this point in his career is not great. And that was their number 1 corner. So now they're to the second corner becomes the number 1 corner. I think in the secondary that will suffer. Middle linebacking for them has been okay at best. And if you flip on the other side, their right tackle opted out at the beginning of the year. So they're down to their backup right tackle. Their centers are rookie, right? So that presents problems for the Steelers. So that there's a lot of things that how you present this game looks like it's just it's going towards the Steelers' way, right? So I have this game 27-17 Steelers, to be honest. I think it's going to be competitive for a quarter and a half, and then the Steelers are going to slowly just go away.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I just want to mention, because you hit on a good point there, that the cornerback matchup against the Steelers wide receivers. I think the key matchup there is Juju against, they're starting right now, the Broncos are starting an undrafted free agent, Isang Bassi, at nickel, only a 5'10", 190 guy. You're going up against Juju. I mean, Juju's one of those big slots. I think that's a matchup to watch, because Juju could go off in this game if they can't slow him down.
Shout out to Ing Raven.
Hey, I thought we was friends, Ingraven. How you gonna do this to me, man?
Okay, so let's segue now to the Ravens game, and let me start real quick with the Ravens. I think the Ravens last year, the Texans came here and we thumped them. The Texans, I feel like they're a worse version than what they were last year, losing Reader, trading D-Hop. So they traded D-Hop for Cook. We're thinking about tier 1 against a tier maybe high 3 or low 2 receiver, right? I'm not saying he's bad, but nowhere near D-Hop. The O-line, it was similar to the one last year when we played it. They already had Tunsil. Their defense, look, J.J. Watt, I think, is good. Still not what he was. But against us, look, our center played horrible against the Browns. That's why you kept hearing about Quincy's boy, and I'm going to botch his name, Ogunjobi. That's how you pronounce it. Ogunjobi. I think that's where Watt should line up against us. If they want to cause some problems, he should line up on top of the center and just make him work. But still, even with that, who are their corners? Their corners are C-level corners. I mean, their linebackers are not great. They're not great against the run. They're not great against the pass. Against this offense, they're going to have problems, and their offense is not the greatest either. So this defense should be able to hold them too. So I think the Ravens win, and I'm going to give my score prediction later tonight with my video. So I'll hold it up, but I'll tell you the Ravens win.
I like that. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right alongside you on this one. This is a pretty simple one, right? Look at last week's game, what Houston tried to do against Kansas City. They wanted to play everything deep. We're not going to let Patrick Mahomes beat us deep, and that left tons of room for Edwards-Helaire to get going. Edwards-Helaire, had a monster game. The Chiefs go on to win easily. If Houston tries to do that with Lamar, well, then the rushing attack in Baltimore is going to eat them alive. And if they don't, do that, then like you said, Sonny, no one should have any confidence that the corners in Houston are going to slow down Lamar in the passing game, so they'll just get eaten alive that way. Like you said, this is a blowout a year ago. This is a 41-7, and Houston, like you said, hadn't gotten any better. I mean, I like David Johnson, and I will give Bill O'Brien credit, because everyone made fun of him for the D-Hop for David Johnson trade, and not to say that it was a good trade by any stretch, but at least David Johnson looks like a capable running back still, where everyone was thinking that this guy's done.
Right? We're talking week 1.
Right.
He has injury problems.
Yeah.
He's older.
Wait.
For a week, I can't even say that.
You're giving credit for trading for a capable running back?
I'm saying like
disposable camp.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, look, he didn't look like what everyone thought he was, which is going to be a guy who's completely past his prime and, injury prone and all of that. He at least looked capable out there. You know what I mean? Like, I give him some props for that, but he's not going to have any impact in this game whatsoever. Okay. They're not going to run. You're not going to run the ball, 3 yards in a cloud of dust against Baltimore. They're going to be down by 14 early. They're going to abandon that. It's going to be down to Watson to make some things happen. And yeah, I got the Ravens easy 35-10.
Okay. Ace.
For me, I think that this game is going to go to the Ravens, but I think what Deshaun Watson and his team has to do is prove that they can score points without D-Hop. I mean, they did some of that last week, but it really comes down to Will Fuller. He's going to be the X factor for him. And you look at this matchup going against one of the top secondaries in the league, probably not going to happen. He's not going to be able to depend on Will Fuller. He's either going to drop a pass or not. And then you got Brandon Cooks. He's just on his 5th team, it seems like, in the last 4 years. So no consistency there. Randall Cobb, another guy that's washed up. The offensive line did do well last week against Kansas City, but this is a totally different defensive front that they're going to be facing. I actually think that they're going to have to depend on the run game, because when they go to the air, their options are going to be limited unless they go to the tight end that they have there. But honestly, I just don't see it working out for Deshaun Watson. He's going to be the X factor. It's going to come down to him. But then when you look on the other side, you've got Lamar Jackson. So I think that the Ravens are just too much of a balanced team to lose to the Texans, and I think that's why the Ravens go ahead and win this game.
Cute.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch this game, Ravens versus Houston, with Amazing Grace playing in the background because I'm legitimately afraid for Deshaun Watson at this point. That defensive line of the Chiefs is not what the Ravens got. It's not Calais Campbell. It's not Derek Wolfe. It's not Brandon Williams, who looks like a football, like a muscle rock in a football uniform. It's ridiculous. I saw a picture on Twitter. Yeah, they're not going to block that. If they couldn't block Kansas City, like I just have no faith in that. So he's going to run around a lot more than he did against Kansas City. And the corners are much better than Kansas City's corners. So yeah, this is going to be a bad day for him. He missed DeAndre Hopkins, who, by the way, 151 yards in his debut in Arizona. To David Johnson's little 71 rushing yards, 32 on the through the air. Okay, yeah, it was a good trade. But
it wasn't a good
great
trade.
great job by Bill O'Brien, whatever his name is. So yeah, this is bad. This is not a good matchup. This is like, I remember last year when the Ravens were heading in to play. Not heading in. The New England Patriots were coming into town to play Baltimore. And I remember being like, yo, the Patriots aren't a bad team, but they're a terrible matchup for the Ravens. This is a similar thing where I'm like, yo, this does not match up at all. This is not good. They could not stop anything, really, that Patrick Mahomes wanted to do, and they really didn't do a great job against Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're not going to do anything against Baltimore's offense, that defense. And you look at how that offensive line played, you put an offensive line that is magnitudes more dangerous than Kansas City in front of it. And, I just hope they have the if they go down 20, they have the presence of mind to bench Deshaun Watson so he doesn't get hurt, because that's more important than, throwing him out there. It's not going to be a good day. Laramie Tunsil, really, we can talk about how good Laramie Tunsil is, has not changed the outlook of this offensive line at all. It's been over a year. Part of it might be Deshaun Watson holds the ball too long and scrambles around too much and tries to do too much sometimes. But that's the only reason they make plays on offense, especially when they don't have a star wide receiver. So, yeah, this is going to be bad. Twitter's definitely going to roast Bill O'Brien. He's going to be in the Baker Mayfield chair after today. So, that's my thoughts on the game.
Okay. So looks like everybody's on the Steelers, everybody's on the Ravens. And before we go to the marquee matchup, guys, remember we're doing this show Tuesdays and Thursday. Tuesday we're doing the review of the game. So next Tuesday we're gonna be here reviewing all these matchups, and Thursday we're gonna do previews. We're gonna give you who wins and who loses those matchups. So if you haven't, please subscribe and share this content with your AFC North buddies. Look, here this is a good balance of all the teams. So please share and subscribe to the channel. Okay, marquee matchup of the week for the AFC North, which is actually tonight, which is great. I love it. I love that it's tonight. So Bengals, Browns. And I think this game is a little bit bigger for the Browns. And the only reason why, in my opinion, is if the Browns lose, not only they're 0-2 in the division, versus if Cincy loses, it's still 0-1 in the division and not those two losses. So just because of that, I'm going to start with Q. Q, tell me, what do you think about this game? Who takes that dub and all that?
Yeah, if you've watched any of my coverage during this week about this game, it's a must-win game in my opinion. It's on the line. Like, we can talk about the division race all we want. Division race ain't going to be important. Baltimore's going to win this division comfortably by a couple games, no matter who's in second place. Tony, y'all ain't pressing them. Y'all not pressing them. Wait till you play Baltimore. Wait.
I can't wait.
Yeah, but they ain't nobody pressing them. I've conceded that ground. They're gonna get first place. Baltimore fans, give yourself a pat on the back. I know Troy is happy somewhere, but that's one thing. This thing is not just about the division or even a wild card race. This is about the makeup of the team, quite frankly, because if Baker Mayfield goes out here on national TV, puts up another dud, then you're going to have to start asking questions about Baker Mayfield that weren't really seriously asked last year. Like, is this dude going to be able to be out here? Because if he had an entire offseason, pandemic or not, and he's doing some of the same things, patting the ball, looking scared to throw interceptions, but then also throwing interceptions. If he continues to look like that's what he's going to do on his development, then the story's done with Baker Mayfield. It's time to start to think about moving on. And with this Browns team, how they're built, it's probably going to be like a trade for Kirk Cousins in the offseason or like a signing Cam Newton. I'm looking way ahead. But that's how far down in the hole you can be if you come out here on Thursday Night Football and lay a dunk and lay a bomb, because you should not lose this game. I'm sorry. Thursday Night Football at home, biggest home field advantage in football. I think, 80% of the teams won it. The last team to lose it was maybe Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, I think that the Devin Steele game might have been the last one or one of the last few. The home team generally doesn't lose. It might be a tie, but the home team generally doesn't lose this game. So you don't have any of these things that were going against you last week, right? You're playing Baltimore. They went 14-2. You're at M&T Bank Stadium. You're starting off on the road. It's weird without whatever. You had all those excuses lined up last week, and you look terrible. If you come out this week and you look terrible or you lose to the Bengals, hey, I got no disrespect to the Bengals. Y'all know I got a high opinion of the Bengals. But if the Browns are a playoff team and they hope to accomplish what they hope to accomplish, you got to beat them on Thursday Night Football at home. I'm not saying you just got to beat the Bengals because you're a playoff team. I'm saying when you have it all stacked for you, you got to win that game. If you let Joe Burrow come in here and make this his homecoming and, let the national media fall in love with Joe Burrow tonight, then, it might be over for Baker Mayfield a lot sooner than a lot of people anticipated. Then we're going to talk about Case Keenum, and we're going to be in that whole mess for the rest of the season. So, yeah, for Baker Mayfield, for Odell Beckham, these two, their spots on this team, I think, are on the line tonight, because if they lose, Odell looks like he's still in the twilight zone. They're probably going to look for trades. They're probably going to look for opportunities to move on, because they have so much of their talent locked up for these next 3 years. They can't afford to, mess around with what looks like stilted development. So, yeah, it's a must win to me.
So what is who do you have winning? Man, I know you said it's a must win.
I don't really want to do this because, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know how this team's going to respond. I'm not confident that they're going to respond in the way I hope they do. I hope they respond, how they should. But I'm unsure. They have not given me good signals in the past that they were going to respond to this, how they should. So I'm going to go here beyond my better thinking with what I hope to see. Right, this is what I hope to see: a return to what they did in training camp. More tight ends, more play action, more single and I formation, more under center. If they do that, they should win somewhere in the range of 17-13. Not going to be pretty. Just get the win. If they don't do that, Joe Burrow could have a field day today. It could be a blowout. I'm not ruling that out, because the secondary looked terrible, and Joe Burrow can light it up, and he has the tools to do it. And if Myles Garrett is not like a beast among men tonight, then yeah, he's going to do it. So, we'll see. I'm also worried about Joe Burrow scrambling a lot. So let's see. We'll see. A lot to worry about tonight.
Ace.
For me, this game is one that I've been looking forward to really get the benchmark of where the Bengals are, right? Coming off of a tough loss against the LA Chargers. This is something that's really going to show whether or not, the Joe Burrow thing is legit. Obviously, we had so many missed opportunities last week where Joe misses a touchdown to John Ross, a touchdown to A.J. Green. That can't happen in this game. The Bengals, in order for us to win this game, we have to take advantage of the Browns' Achilles heel, which right now is their secondary, just because they're decimated with injuries, right? So the thing that I would like to see is for us to go 5 wide against the Browns secondary. To me, unless Zach Taylor is not smart, that's what you should do at certain points in this game. The only thing is, what worries me is Geno Atkins is out of this game. You also talk about Mike Daniels being out of this game, and you're talking about a run game that you're looking at Kareem Hunt as well as Nick Chubb. That's scary, because if those guys, if they do a great job against DJ Reader and he goes out of the game, that defense that we have in terms of the run defense, I'm kind of worried about it. It started to rear its ugly head a little bit against LA, and they have nowhere near as talented of running backs as they do. If the Browns are going to be smart, I think that they would trust their run game. The other thing that's going to be very interesting is going to be the wide receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. coming off a rough game. Don't let him blow this game up. William Jackson III had played very solid in the first game, but this is a whole other level. He's got to make sure that he's got Odell at least limited, and that's hard to do. Odell, I don't care what anyone says. He's still a top receiver in this league, and at any given moment, you don't want that moment to be tonight. And you also talk about Jarvis Landry. Another matchup I'm looking forward to because Keenan Allen played in the slot a lot last week, played against Mackenzie Alexander. He did a great job. This is another level. Jarvis Landry, similar to Keenan Allen in terms of his shiftiness. That's going to be a key matchup as well. And then you talk about Darius Phillips, kind of had a little bit of a rough game. In my opinion, I don't think it's as rough if he doesn't get those if he gets those push-off penalties from Mike Williams, but he's going to have to prove that he's ready to bounce back as well. This is a big game for the linebackers and the defensive line. We've got to be able to stop that run. If we cannot put points on the board against the Browns with a decimated secondary, then the Bengals just aren't ready to take that next step. But if we are ready, this is a game that we have to take. And I think, like Quincy said, the Browns right now, their confidence is a little shook. And if Baker goes out and causes or throws a turnover or something like that, this could be a game where you have to take advantage of that and try to get up on this team and knock them out early. But to me, I think that this will still be a close game. We still have to remember that Joe Burrow's a rookie. We still have to remember that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are great running backs and can run it up against anyone. So I think that the Bengals win this game, but I think that it is by the skin of their teeth. And I think that this is a game where Joe Burrow tries to get the passing game involved. We really need to see T. Higgins tonight. I'd love to see a lot more of him. But I think that this is still going to be a close game. So with that said, I'm going to say that it's going to be Bengals 23, Browns 20.
Ooh, who's your kicker, by the way, Ace, this week?
Cyber, and I just hope they go for 2. I don't know. Just go for 2 all game.
No, I think Randy Bullock is.
Did they come out with the inactives yet?
No, they won't.
Yeah,
for another,
so until they do that, we'll have to say. You say what?
Okay. Because I've heard from Cleveland some of the reports where that like Austin Cyber's not got to worry about kicking in a dog pound. They said that Bullock should be active for that game.
It could be because some people claim that Bullock was faking the injury because
you can't get cut if you on the IR, baby.
In the interview, he said that it was
I will claim it. His
left calf, but apparently when you watch the replay, he's pulling for his right calf. So I don't know if he got confused there, but
Hey, look, if I was the kicker, I miss any field goal. Sometimes you don't get the benefit of the doubt if you get like a little tiny tip that affects the trajectory of that ball. So you gotta grab something. They want a reason for why you missed the kick. You just can't come to the podium and be like, I just missed them kicks. That's why Austin Cyber got cut. Ain't no reason he missed them kicks. He just went to the coach and was like, why you missed the kicks? I just wasn't ready. Okay, get off the team. Get off the team. You ain't ready. So, hey, if I'm Randy, you got to grab something. You got to go down, cramp, something, spleen. I had a bad burrito, something, food sickness game. You got to come up with it.
So for me, this game, it comes down to one thing. Can the Browns run the ball, actually? I think the Browns should be like, let's run down their throat. They're hurting in the middle. Let's run between the tackle and then play action out of that. I actually think they should be in 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and get Hooper involved, right? Get Baker to have those easy targets, short passes, out of play action. And also, man, Hunt is a weapon out of the backfield, not only as a runner, but as a catcher. You want to see that because right now, let's be honest, Bynes, I know Bynes had a good game last week. Bynes cannot keep up with Hunt. And none of the rookies are versatile enough in the Bengals to keep up with Hunt. It's just the reality. So if Stefanski, an offensive-minded coach, wins this game, it's because he put that offense to succeed. And there's a lot of places where they can create mismatches. I think on the other side, the defense for the Browns needs to do just enough, right? We know the right tackle for the Bengals is not the greatest. I will put Myles Garrett there. And I will say, you just need to just own him and pressure Burrow. Look, like Quincy said, I don't even know who to go with. I keep saying, the Browns, the Bengals. I'm like, because I think it all depends. It all depends about a couple of different things. So these teams right now, just based on week 1 performance, I cannot say like, that team did all this, and if they do, they will win, right? I cannot pinpoint any single thing for them to win, one versus the other. Saying that, I'm going to lean with the Browns just because I think overall they're more of a desperate team. And in my opinion, they need this win more. So, but I don't feel good about it. So I just say I'm just going to edge the Browns 23-20. Yeah, go ahead, Ace.
not responding to the Browns pick, but remember when we had, this kind of positional rankings thing, and we talked about receivers, and we talked about who has the best receivers in the division, and we kind of said, okay, well, the Bengals can't have 5 receivers out there. Now we can. So that's why I said overall, when you talk about 1 through 5, Bengals.
Real quick to hit on Sonny's note here. It was really frustrating to hear that because you're saying like, hey, can they run the ball? Can they do it? Yeah, they can do it. They can do it very well. They did it very well against the Ravens. They just chose not to. And this is what's frustrating. It's not that I don't think the Browns are physically capable of beating the Bengals. It's right there for them. The path is right there for them. My question and my concern, which is amply frustrating, is will they do it? Because that's the question with this team. Yeah. Will they do it? Will they do what they're supposed to do? Or will they come out in Baltimore and decide, hey, we're going to spread it out and go 5 wide, even though we only got 2 wide receivers? All right, man, let me get Tony.
Before I get to Tony, I would say this too. The Browns O-line in Baltimore, they play well. Wales held his own.
They're all hurt.
Well, they're going to play, though.
I think they're going to play. But my point is,
practice.
The O-line, which it was a concern, right? It was a question mark coming out of the year. They upgraded. They held their own. Anyway, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so I know Quincy's been calling this a must-win game all week, and normally I would say, like, look, week 2, there's no panic button yet. There's no must-wins in week 2. But let's understand, like, the gravity of this game for the Browns as a franchise, okay? Because if you look at the Bengals where they are right now, they just got Burrow, right? They feel like they're in the ascendancy a little bit. This is the start of their rebuild, right? And they've got some talent around Burrow. I'm not trying to downplay the talent, right? But if they went from 2-14 last year to a 6 or 7 win team this year, I think everyone in Cincinnati would be happy with that. And a lot of people would say, look, that was a good year for the Bengals. The Browns are in year 3. The Browns are a team that a year ago, we weren't talking about the Browns as like, well, if they win, 8 or 9 games, they'd be good. No, we're talking about the Browns like they're going to be in the playoffs. And there were legitimate NFL analysts who were talking about this team as a contender, a Super Bowl contender, okay, AFC contender. Yeah, if you predicted the Browns last year to go 6-10 before the year, you would have been laughed off. You'd been laughed off. There's no way the Browns go 6-10. That's what happened. And now here we are a year later, and we are talking about an open question as to whether or not that same football team can beat a rookie Joe Burrow who's had no offseason at home on a Thursday night. That's where this Browns team is right now. If they cannot, if the Bengals are truly a better team tonight than where the Cleveland Browns are 3 years into this project, I'm with you, Quincy. Blow it up. It's over, right? That's it. That's the end. Cleveland has the better talent. They should win this game. There's no question in my mind the Browns should win this game. But like you guys, I have no idea. Flip a coin. That's who's going to win tonight's game. Okay, I have no idea who's going to win this game. I will say this for we talk about the Steelers getting kind of cupcakes a little early in the season. I will say this: the NFL did Joe Burrow no favors, right? Here's Joey Bosa week 1. Did you like that, Joey? Well, try Myles Garrett week 2. Good luck. Didn't do him any favors there. He's gonna have his hands full tonight. Bobby Hart, he's gonna have his hands full. I don't know what side Myles plays on, so maybe he'll go up against Vernon. For the key to me in this game, I think this is the one thing you have to watch for. Can Baker Mayfield stay turnover free? If he stays turnover free, I think the Browns have a very good chance of winning tonight. But if you start giving a Bengals offense who look, we graded them on a curve last week, right? They scored 13 points. They probably should have been more, but they struggled to move the ball a little bit last week. If you give that team short fields, if you give them free points, the Browns are going to lose this game tonight, and they can't. I'm going to predict the Browns to win 20-14. Like the rest of you, don't feel good about it, but that's my prediction.
So we going 3-1 here. 3 of us say Browns. 1 of us say Bengals. None of us feel comfortable with our picks.
Which one picked that?
I feel very comfortable.
But,
I feel very comfortable. So I just was trying to be nice. But
the lone wolf. He's the only one that feels comfortable. The other ones that pick, they're saying, I'll bail. If you give me the right reasons, I'll bail this pick. Anyway, guys, this is it for today. But don't forget, next Tuesday, we're coming back previewing all these games. And we're going to talk Bengals and Browns, plus Steelers, plus Ravens. This is what we do in the AFC North talk. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share our content. And hey, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out.